some do slip behind with their Paris Agreement goals. We are also ready to protect our European industry from the risk of carbon leakage. And that is why we have launched today work, including a public consultation, on a carbon border adjustment mechanism. It will make sure that there is, for our European industry, a level playing field. This is necessary for them to engage in this transition. We will, of course, design this mechanism with stakeholders in Europe and beyond in a very inclusive and very transparent manner.
The EU is looking at supporting its own countries with a Just Transition Fund, but we also have neighbouring countries. And Ursula von der Leyen mentioned before this press conference that the EU is looking at a carbon border tax. So are we taking an approach where we will assist EU countries and have an incentive scheme, whereas we are going to take a punitive approach to those outside the EU?
Well, it's an interesting point. I also discussed it yesterday in a teleconference with a Chinese representative because there are many questions about the carbon border adjustment mechanism, as we like to call it. The thing is this. We will be asking European industry to make huge investments to assure that we are carbon neutral, climate neutral by 2050. If at the same time we do not address the potential issue of carbon leakage, then you don't get to higher goals and you weaken the competitive edge of European industry. So, as I've said to my Chinese colleague and to others, the best way to avoid a carbon border adjustment mechanism is to make sure you go in the same way, that you also take measures that take you to conformity with the Paris agreements. If that is done, then there will be no necessity for a carbon border tax. But if it isn't done, I think we are absolutely right and absolutely in conformity with international rules to protect European industry if we do take those measures, and then a carbon border tax might be the instrument. There might be other instruments. You could look at ETS and other instruments, but we will protect European industry if it takes the historic step of decarbonising in the next generation.